here from the team in TLP that was the aggressor and ends up paying off. So 2 points to their name out of that fight. But now to be careful on the rotation. This was where we saw multiple teams, one on top of Mirage as well.
I believe it was ISMP that was holding down that location. They were keeping a firm eye back down towards this spot. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe they've already moved from that point because there's a lot of vision up here. Actually, nope, still holding down, but looks like they're still trying to protect Protectful at the time. They're still hiding back over there, and we can see if maybe they can get back.
At the same time, as terrible as it is, they might be able to use them as bait. Because people are going to see a player and they're like, oh yeah, we can kill this guy. And then all of a sudden it's like they're getting overwhelmed by another player. So maybe you like 40 chest the situation. I don't know. Might work.
I've often talked about the fact that I think that going for a respawn towards the late game, kind of like what you were talking about using for bait, just go for the res and then have everybody's attention drawn back over towards the shuttle and use that to get to a new spot is kind of cruel, but a solid strategy that we don't see employed a ton. New circle's going to pop, and it's still going to be going back over down towards Thermal Station. A little bit northern this time, as we're going to have a couple of rock outcroppings being a factor for it. Teams back over towards the north are getting very stacked up next to each other and have to be cautious.
Yeah, Sentinel's in a really good spot right now, too. Have high ground, are able to overlook all of Thermal. In the zone for the next one as well, as you can see from the Pathfinder passive, but TSM just waiting on the outside. They know there's a team over here that they're just waiting to rotate on.
Still connecting with good shots off in distance. Sure, 30, 40, 50,
someone
60.
Nerf Alvarele, please. Someone nerf him.
How do you walk anywhere near this guy out in the open? You just have to find every single rock cropping you can, bounce from one to the other, and just constantly chain med to have some type of path. Meanwhile, new brainers do find themselves with the potential to get a couple of shots back out. Superiors making their rotation back over as well, kind of leading the pack out onto this, so have to be very cautious. As you can see, not a lot of vision to be found, but a lot of teams already stacked up along the spot.
Rotate around the back side, recognize that there is fencing up just about everywhere, so you need to be careful about where they aggress, but now they're caught in between the middle, a team up high and a team down low, so again, in a really rough situation, one of them does end up dropped by death call up top, so we have a team in HRN that realizes, you know what, we are surrounded by a lot of teams, time to call it home, so they're going to drop the Watson ultimate, and this is where they set up base.
That's about one of the worst feelings ever, is whenever you have to make a blind rotation, walk in, and suddenly all you see are just fences. And every single building, every single point that you were trying to go for, HRN do lose their door, but still playing around the outside. This one, Superior has one of them knocked down, but should be able to get the res based off the Wraith portal on the outside. Also going to go ahead and set up Watson as well. Firm defensive point from here, but have to be cautious as they're pretty far to the north, and a lot of teams might opt to make the play back over towards them. Trying to get a little bit of a reposition, have to opt into leaving the complex that they had just fortified. HRN is playing this one hyper aggressive, just running in. Gonna get, is that a melee we see coming outside of this one? We are very close range.
Gotta bop him on the nose. 1v1 the Mastiff more. The last one available here. Even though Eurus is on the back end side, it's not gonna matter as they get down Prodigy. But can't get through the door. Just gotta wait for the time to end up opening it up as it gets out of the phase shift, and they're gonna end up trying to move across. So again, trying to spread their engagement across multiple buildings. Just trying to watch the angles before they commit.
Got to be careful with that one. You can see that it's going to be NRG that reaps the rewards of everything that's been going on over here. Is they're going to have plenty of loot to work with. Got to be careful though, as new safe zone has popped and it's going to be making its way back down towards the northwest from where we're presently sitting at. We've been seeing a lot of hardships coming into the late game, so making it very complicated. Going to be NRG jumping back into point. A couple of shots coming out there. Is now we're going to pop back over on Team Liquid's vision, as it looks like they're just in the process of mopping up the remainder of a fight.
I mean, good attempt, Panders. I like the effort in delaying Team Liquid, but rough situation for you, bud. Still 14 squads
do what
remaining,
you can.
Man. There's a lot of things in this North Point.
I feel like it's a lot of remnants, though, too. We've seen a lot of people manage to escape with just one player still alive and just manage to find somewhere to hide out. So, a lot of our teams that have been playing back over towards the northeast could find themselves funneled in between those two different points you can see on the mini-map. Got two little kind of passes that they can work through, but looks like NRG is starting to get more and more control over this area. If they can manage to clear this one out, they should have a ton of kills to work with, but in addition to that, should find themselves with a much easier pass to move into the next safe zone.
NRG coming back up top and going right back down. Never mind.
Sometimes it's about just getting information and trying to see if you can bait out a shot. Sometimes it's just about baiting
damage.
us.
Pretty good. Yeah, you got hit for about 75 damage, so pretty well done on the poke. As that Watson ultimate coming up clutch.
Be a little bit cautious
Spawn
with
a
this
couple
one.
down below. Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to poke this.
And Yukio's got the vision up on top of it, but it's going to be NRG continuing their rampage back over here towards the northeast that we were talking about, connecting with a lot of damage. Looking back down into it as everybody's making the push back over towards the Gibraltar shield. Finally goes down, but it is just pop, 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 and everything going in NRG's favor.
Yeah, well played by Rex as well with that Mastiff. Just anytime there's an opportunity, way too many times people are way too hesitant when it comes to their shots with a shotgun. They want to wait for that perfect opportunity, especially when bubble play is there, but he sees the shot and he just takes it. And that commitment to that is just... Why? Because you're one of those players?
I am one of those players. I lose a lot of fights.
I get it. You want to make sure it lands, but that decisiveness just makes it so much easier. Plus, with the other players hearing those shots, it just applies that pressure, which makes them rotate back out. The whole point of that engagement is to help out your teammates. As Team Liquid sitting on the edge here, just doing a ton of damage with that thermite. You can just hear it adding up, and he lands another one.
It is just hell back behind that right now. There's nowhere to go. Quick spin back around, polishes that one off. They're going to have to continue their trek. Do manage to make it inside the safe zone. 7 squads left, and it's going to be TSM. No surprise, up on the high ground, raining down damage. They have a lot of vision to work with, but again, a hard shift back down towards the northwest. Man, this game really wants to go back over towards Therm.
Can't do a whole lot to it as we're going to get our second thermal circle of the day. Sentinels was up top, but they ended up rotating out as they had that high ground kind of right on the edge. So curious to see if those guys are still involved or if they're still up top where they called their home. Either way, a lot of teams nearby and a lot of teams going to have to all reconvene in the same spot. I see them trying to utilize that high ground as shots are coming out at them. A little bit different from what we saw in game one where Rogue and a lot of other teams were able to just kind of have free havoc on a lot of these teams down below. But Sentinels poised to win on this one. It ended up shifting in their favor. They've been here this whole time as Rogue looking pretty soft here.
Yeah.
It's getting removed from Sentinels and TSM and everybody else up top.
It's going to be TSM very aware of who's chasing after them on the leaderboard, making push back down after it, trying to pick up a couple more kills. Things considered, they're starting to get control back down towards the low ground and inadvertently kind of have Sentinels protecting them as they manage to make it back down towards kind of the footsteps of where we see Sentinels playing at. Team Liquid finding themselves in a little bit of a rough position. They've got a long ways to go to make it back over towards the safe zone and a lot of damage coming back over their way. Casper goes down. Sentinel shots still raining true back off of position, and you can see how difficult it is to make the rotation back over here when you have the lava that is just the secondary factor that you know is going to inflict more damage. Aim Assist now playing back on the other side of this, kind of letting Team Liquid be a distracting factor for them.
Still on the same side, too, for Sentinels up top. Sentinel has a lot of information to work with, and the difficulty is making sure that his team is coordinated so they can actually take advantage of it. As you see, TSM ends up getting a knock. Reps takes down the last player from what it looks like Liquid, as Flanker just trying to hold on for dear life. Eventually, Reps does get credit for the kill, so it's another 2 points in favor of TSM. On the back side, Team Liquid has Nocturnal still alive and ends up getting off the Phoenix kit. But with multiple teams in the area, 6 squads still available. He's the only one left, and a peek there is going to do a ton of damage. This could be their chance to aggress unless they can sit in front of that door.
Don't sleep on aim assist. These guys know how to play this game, and you can see they're just raining death and destruction on everything around them. But this is going to be a very difficult push. Look how defended it is, but they just keep hitting shot after shot into this. It's like a shooting gallery. They're just popping off every single fish that is in front of them right now. But you can see a nice play coming up from Yeet Squad, playing up in that high ground, trying to get something out of it, but it's not going to connect. It's going to be aim assist picking that one up, but have to be careful as they're taking a lot of damage now, starting to lose one of their members. Another one's already downed and out. Jennifer's trying to go for the res right now, but should be able to get the damage control off.
Need to be careful, though, as they do have Sentinels right above them, but I highly doubt Sentinels is going to give up their positioning. Trying to play for placement here, as it looks like kills have been somewhat quiet, just trying to play a little bit of cleanup. They do have TSM down below, and then right below them as well, another team. So our final 3 squads, 2 on top of each other and 1 on the edge. The circle shift actually going to favor, it looks like, TSM.
All right, they're starting to make a little bit more of a play back over towards this. Let's see how our other teams move. Looking at a firm 3-man squad on every one of our 3 teams still remaining. It's all about positions. You can see Sentinels up on the high ground, trying to rain down a little bit of damage back over towards TSM, who keep going for peaks. Meanwhile, Aim Assist still just trying to replenish after a very hazardous fight that they just took right on the edge of the safe zone. 8 seconds before we're going to have to start seeing a little bit of movement, and it's going to be TSM that's holding down the defensive line. 2 different squads going to be making their approach back over towards them. How are we going to see this one play out? We know TSM, they have the tools, they have the utility. Big shot going to come out to start this one out, cracking it on the approach, trying to get a look back over, follows it up for a second time. TSM now making their move, looking back up on the rotations as they're coming through. TSM's got to be careful. Braley's taking a lot of damage off to the side of this one, running back over towards the center. It's still going to be Reps playing on the outside. Imperial House now going down as well, trying to go for the peak on the side of this. It's going to be Reps, the last guy up for his squad. He gets taken down, but it's going to be Sentinels that do manage to work their way inside this, becoming the new kill leader at the exact same time. Aim Assist making their approach on the side of this one, getting a lot of plays. Forward aggression coming up big for Sentinels as they're going to walk away with the round.
Really well played by Sentinels on the back end there. You saw that high ground advantage, and even with Reps there with the Kraber shots, I mean, he cracked him immediately to start that fight. But then, like you said, it was pretty much like they're playing Duck Hunt. Guys flying through the air, they've got Mastiffs, and they're just ripping them out of the sky, and they end up getting rewarded for it. So Sentinels, early rotations ends up paying off. They keep the high ground, and then a little bit of the blessing of the circle ends up favoring them pretty much the whole way. And then that final push ends up just landing the